Hello and welcome to a very special look back at this year's 8th edition of the Dubai International Film Festival. We are at the Medina Jumeirah Hotel, a beautiful setting for the perfect event. And what a week it has been. We get a bit of Tom Cruise, a bit of Shah Rukh Khan, the Muppets, also the glitz and glamour from the red carpet, along with some of the movies that could be making a splash at the Oscars. All that coming up. But first, making DIFF bigger and better than ever? Mission Impossible? No way. Media from all over the world packed the opening night of DIFF to have a word with the team members of Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol, and Tom Cruise spent 2 hours on the red carpet meeting and greeting fans. In the presence of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, Vice President and Prime Minister of UAE and ruler of Dubai, the film wowed the audience of Dubai. And Diala Maki got a one-on-one with Tom himself. Check it out.
I'm telling you, we can get to it from outside.
We?
I'm on the computer.
I'm just the helper.
What floor is it on?
130.
130. Vent ducts.
Pressure sensitive.
Not enough time.
Elevator shaft.
Infrared sensors.
Not enough time.
How am I supposed to do this?
Meeting you the first time last year was a dream come true for me. And to be able to meet you again, I had to really fight for this interview, so I'll come back to Dubai. What did you miss most about the city?
It's a very beautiful city, and it was wonderful because on the last night that I was here, I got to go out into the desert and have a real, desert experience. It was fantastic. There was, they set up, cooked food outside in the camels, and the sun was setting. And also that juxtaposed to the cinematic nature of this city. I mean, I look at structures kind of as movies, and I was very excited to shoot here. I missed the Burj the moment that my climb was done there, and the people were wonderful, and so I felt like coming here was like coming home again.
What do you think about Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum's initiative to transform the city into a production hub that would invite big franchises like Mission Impossible?
I think it's wonderful, and I encourage them to do that. I'm a lover of cinema. I love movies and making them, and that's why I wanted to come here. That's why I produce a film like Mission Impossible, where I get to travel, which fulfills a lifelong dream of mine, to be able to go to different places. And I think it's great for movies. Even if you look at the first Mission Impossible, I want to work with an international cast and meet different artists and have them in the films and work with them together. And it's always very interesting and exciting to find the common language of movies together and storytelling. So I'm very happy about it.
What the hell is that?
Abort.
How did your character evolve in this movie?
Well, this film, one of the things that I wanted from this film, and kind of my edict, when I came in, I said I wanted bigger composition, bigger frame for the film. I wanted more humor in this picture, and having a team together where the suspense comes from, is the team going to make it or not? So that with each one, and when Bird came in, these are the things that his sensibility, he loved about the movie, like the mistakes that happen and the flaws, and, the humorous flaws in these characters. And I think the audience is going to be really engaged in the drama and the comedy and the humanity of the film. And I love to entertain an audience. That's what I do. This is why I do it. And it was really a great collaboration with Brad Bird in making this movie. And I think they're going to see his sense of storytelling and animation come to live action.
143 Denver, take one.
We're rolling. Ready? We're a mile and a half above the Earth on the tallest building on the planet, the Burj Khalifa in Dubai. And we're filming a scene where Tom Cruise is climbing on the outside of the building.
Okay, Tom, we're ready to go.
Stepping out, guys. This is just another day at work on Mission Impossible.
3, 2, 1, action!
So, Tom, we're just going to do another one from this angle. This angle is great.
Everyone connected with this man is an asset with valuable information. We come back with our target.
And you're welcome to your second home, Dubai. As you said, Dubai is just like home. You have friends here. You've been here so many times. But the first question that I really want to, talk about is your beautiful hair, because we're all jealous, all men and women. Really, seriously.
Oh, great.
Is that what's your secret?
I'm surprised that you're, okay, fine. There are people who say that you have beautiful hair also. I must say, you look beautiful.
Yeah, well,
absolutely. Yes,
some
yeah.
additions
Yes.
there, but we're not going to talk about that.
I'll tell you one thing. I see what makes me really happy. When my colleagues who have started their career with me, obviously there are 3-4 actors. We all started together, and all of them have lost hair.
So
And they become they're wearing wigs.
And Neil, you've been in the industry for quite a long time, and you did the shift from Bollywood to Hollywood in 2006 with Slumdog Millionaire, and now you're a part
2008.
of 2008, sorry, and now you're a part of Ghost Protocol, one of the most important and famous franchises in the world. How do you feel about that, and what do you think about this association with Mission Impossible?
See, I tell you what, to be honest with you, as an actor, of course, where, when you have people like Tom Cruise attached to a film, artists all over the world, anywhere in the world, it might be Dubai, it might be Lebanon, it might be India, Mumbai, South Africa, Pakistan, every actor looks up to it. They're inspired by Tom Cruise, of course. And then he's the producer, and he's the lead of the film, and you're being part of this franchise, so it cannot get better than that. Then over that, you have J.J. Abrams producing the film, Brian Burke producing the films. They are the future of, they are people hugely admired, respected today internationally as well as in Hollywood. And then there is Brad Bird, who's an Oscar winner. He's done Ratatouille, he's done Incredible, and both the animation films have been phenomenal. People have loved those films all over the world, and it's very, very difficult to make an animation film. You need a certain kind of commitment, certain kind of concentration, certain kind of knowledge, certain kind of feel for characters to make them work artificially. You're doing everything on a computer, and then he's doing his first feature film. So I'm part of the first feature film. So this is my second time that I'm working with an Oscar winner in my life, Danny Boyle.
Yeah.
He's an Oscar winner. He won the Oscar. So I had the opportunity to work with Danny Boyle, and this is the second time that I'm working with the director who's an Oscar winner.
Yeah.
So what else can I ask for? It's fantastic.
Let's talk about filming in Dubai. We heard that Tom Cruise was very particular in the scenes of filming inside the house of the character that you played, which is an Indian role, because he wanted to be very true to the Indian culture. Is that right?
See, more than anything else, what Tom said, I want to see when I look at India, I look at the colors.
Yeah.
I look at happiness. Everything is very elegant, and that's what he tried to do. I don't want to show the slums. Okay, fine. That's also the reality. But he wanted to show the elegant side of India, and if you see the character which I play also, he's elegant. The kind of tuxedo he wears, the kind of clothes he wears. Extremely elegant. He's handsome, he's good. He's more elegant.
Very handsome.
Yes, very handsome. Indian, and I say that, Indian men are hot. I do say
very
that.
Hot
very
man.
hot, yes. So that's what he tried to do in this film, and which was wonderful. And people are very, I'm very pleased with this whole. It is a commercial, mainstream film, and it has to be slightly larger than life. Obviously, it is authentic, but obviously we have taken a bit of liberties. But in a mainstream, we're not making a documentary. Yeah. So that way, I feel, I think it's been projected very well.
You're one of the few actors who do the stunts themselves, though you don't have to do it. My question is, doesn't your family, your wife in particular, get scared when you're doing all these? What was her reaction when she found out that you were going to be climbing the tallest building and the world.
You know, she knows who I am, and she knows the things that, the way that I prepare for things. I just don't do it. I prepare and I prepare and I prepare. And the reason I do it is I want to entertain an audience, and I know that it adds an element of excitement for the audience. And, you know, I've been doing stunts since I was a little kid, you know, and now now it's safer because I have professionals and I've trained for many, many years doing different things. So to have the opportunity to climb the Bergin IMAX is something that, you know, I just have to do. So she enjoys it when she sees it, you know, on the screen. It's like, you know, and she knows that I'm doing everything to make it as safe as possible. So, you know, they're very supportive.
What a film. And Tom Cruise, what a guy. Absolutely fascinating. But we should not forget the real star of the movie, which of course is our very own Burj Khalifa. It looked absolutely incredible in the movie, probably even better than Tom Cruise himself. Still to come, we meet the king of Bollywood and a man who may one day take his crown. Stay with Dubai One. Welcome back. We are at the Medina Jumeirah, where we look back at just a few of the highlights of this year's Dubai International Film Festival. Now, no film festival these days will be complete without a bit of Bollywood. Indian cinema is bigger than ever, and outside India, their biggest market, of course, is here in the UAE. So it comes as no surprise that Don 2, Shah Rukh Khan's upcoming blockbuster, will premiere later on this year. Poonam Verma caught up with SRK himself.
मेरे दुश्मन समझ रहे थे मैं अब कभी लौट के ना आऊंगा एक गुमनामी का समुंदर है उसमें ही जाके डूब जाऊंगा अभी बाकी मेरी कहानी है सारी दुनिया को जो सुनानी है मुझे पहचानो देखो मैं हूं कौन.
Now, I would say welcome back to Dubai, but you visit Dubai more than the rain itself. So I know you have a second home here, yeah?
Yes, I have a home here, and I like coming here, and it's always fun to be here.
I spoke to Priyanka about Don 2, your co-star, and she said that she felt Don 2 was better than Don 1 simply because of the writing. Would you agree?
I think Farhan has a little more freedom now because it's not based on an old film. So he can be a little more free-flowing, and I think he's really free-flowed with the lines of Don. So I enjoy it. Actually, I noticed that on the sets that all the other co-actors and actresses, including Priyanka and Boman, they really enjoy the way Don speaks now.
What about the stunts? Ritesh said you jumped from a building, you did it yourself.
Yeah, most of the car driving and this jumping from the building has been done by me. And I don't know why, they just asked me and I should have said no, because it's very scary. You know, everyone stand there and...
But you didn't hurt yourself or anything?
Huh?
You didn't hurt yourself, you were fine?
No, I was just very scared. It's very scary. I would always say this to everyone that, you know, people think we do stunts, which I do. I do most of my stunts. I've injured myself 6 times. I've had surgery, but I know it's...
You keep going.
Yeah, it's not very much. You feel really scared doing it, and you should be very careful doing that.
Whenever I ask any other actor who do you want to work with, they will say Shah Rukh Khan, Shah Rukh Khan. Who's your dream person to work with still?
Shah Rukh Khan.
Wow. That's amazing.
I find all
You're just the Don in real life. There's an ego there.
I don't know. I just joke. I think people take my sense of humor very seriously. But yeah, I'd like to work with all the actors.
Yesterday at DIFF, you had the question and answer session, and at one point the fans were just screaming, and I thought there was going to be a stampede because they were dying to get close to you. Now, wherever you go, you have security around you. Have you become accustomed to this, or does it at times still become quite claustrophobic?
See, if I'm on work, like I am now, then I think it's kind of essential to do it so that we don't waste anybody's time. But otherwise, I'm okay with it. I'm really not much of a, you know, wherever I go, I'm not much like a star. I don't behave like one. I don't think like one.
It's not about you behaving. It's about everybody around you just gathering.
I was coming to that. What happens is that if I feel like doing something, I just walk out and do it. And when people come to me, I think there's more than the stampede part. I feel that they love me, and I can tell them, listen, guys, I just want to eat a bit, and then I'll be with you. And I don't mind meeting people. I love meeting all of them. My life's ambition is that I should end up this life meeting everyone who's watched my film even for a moment. So I want to say thank you to all of them.
The artist Jay Sean, he was here recently and he had a question for you.
I've always wondered about Bollywood and the actors that exist within your industry. Do you feel that there's enough diversity in terms of the looks of, let's take, for example, male actors? You know, in Hollywood, for example, the lead guy might not always be a good-looking, buff dude with a great physique. He might just be a middle-aged guy who's balding and fat, but he might be the lead role. Do you think that there could be more diversity in Bollywood in terms of the actors and their image?
Hi Jay, it's nice you asking me this question, and I wish you all the best with your music. I've been following you on Twitter and you're doing very well, mashallah. You know, it's, I think whenever there is a story to tell and you have a different character to be played, in India, because cinema is nascent in terms of the modernness right now, it's always nice to be good looking. When I joined the film industry, I remember I was told by this wonderful director who made a film with me, Mansoor Khan, that I'm so glad you joined the film industry because you're ugly. So
really?
Yeah, so I was like, oh, and you could do different roles, and I did actually. I was always playing the bad guy, killing people, and but I guess people get used to your look. I'm sure that, you know, every time you do a romantic film, you do try to, yeah, I know what you mean, there is a type, everybody's got muscles, you know, everybody has a six-pack, so do I, but, and buffed up and try to look nice. Yeah, but, you know, in a certain segment of Indian cinema, yes, the look is similar, but otherwise, you know, out of 1,000 films that we make, about 700-800, they are different looking people. Actually, if you look down south, or in Bengal, or in Bhojpuri, actors don't really look similar. As a matter of fact, I find most of them looking a little girlish, you know, with all muscle and moving around. I think it's a lot.
I think Jay just is asking you if he can be in Don 3. That's all he wants to know.
I think, Jay,
really.
you can make it with your looks. We really, really do need different looks, Ajay Sean. So you have to come down and be that pot-bellied, balding hero for Indian films.
Okay, well, Shahrukh, thank you so much, and I wish you all the best with the film.
Now, Shah Rukh Khan has been a Bollywood star for 30 years. But what about the new breed? Here's Ranveer Singh and Anushka Sharma arriving in style for their latest movie, Ladies vs. Ricky Bell. Now, Ricky plays a lady killer, but the ladies get their own back. Dina Bhutti caught up with both the stars. Check it out.
Ranveer and Anushka, it is amazing to have you guys both here in Dubai. Welcome. Now, to start with you, I know you're both reuniting on this film. Ranveer, this is your second film and your second film with Anushka. So do you consider her your good luck charm?
Yes, Anushka is my good luck charm. Good things start happening in my life when Anushka is around. I'll be the first one to admit.
Oh, wonderful. Well, Anushka, I have to ask. Now, Ranveer
I'm really scared when he says that. I just hope I'm not giving him all my luck.
No, I hope not. Ranveer plays a con man, quite a charming man, but also very deceptive. How would the real Ranveer compare to his character?
This could have been his debut film. Ranveer is a very charming guy. He's very popular with the ladies. And I think, like, we always said this, me and Manish, that this should have been his debut film because he would have just sailed through it. But no, really, I think Ranveer is a very charming guy, and he sort of makes everybody feel really comfortable around, and he's very friendly, and not so much, I mean, I'm very happy that he's not really conning women and running away with their money, because then I don't think this film would be up for release. We'd have some trouble, but yeah, that's all I have to say about you.
Anushka, you've also worked with some of Bollywood's leading men. What was some of your most interesting experiences, and who else would you like to work with in the future?
I've been very fortunate to start my career with Shah Rukh Khan as my co-actor. You know, I say, like, your first film is like a school, you know, your first school, like your preschool, where you get to learn the most because you're like a clean slate, you know, and you try and absorb as much as you can. So I haven't really ever thought or dreamt of working with this hero or that actor or this director, but I've been really fortunate that I got to work with the best people in the industry. And with my first film, with my third film, I got to work with a ranked newcomer, which really helped me as an actor, because I think that somewhere you start to get into this mold and you start to get very complacent and comfortable with the kind of way that you perform, and then here comes someone completely new who's completely unaware of technicality, etc., and he just throws things at you, and you just sort of have to take that and work with that. So I think I've because of the kind of actors that I worked with, it has really added to a lot of growth that I have faced as an actor. And this is my 5th film, and I'm getting to work with him again. I can see a huge change in him. He's not a newcomer anymore. He knows everything. But yeah, I think I've been very blessed so far.
When we're back on the note of you being a newcomer, how difficult was it for you to break into Bollywood? We've seen that many Bollywood stars are connected. It's almost like a family business. How difficult was it for you to get that first role?
When I always wanted to be an actor ever since I was a kid. It's only in the 10th grade, you know, when these questions start popping up, you know, is it really a career in mainstream Hindi films that you're going to pursue? Are you going to be a male lead in these type of films? Because what are your chances? You have no filmy background, you're not connected in the industry, which is very fraternized. So at that point, I was about 15 and I had to let this dream go, because it was very, very far-fetched. Very almost absurd for somebody, given my background, to even think that I would get a break. But my love of acting brought me back and propelled me to take my chances, which I did. I graduated, got a degree at the age of 21. I came back to Bombay and I started trying my luck. Made a portfolio, went from office to office, did a bit of theatre, did a bit of acting classes, just did the rounds. It's what I like to call my hustle period. So yeah, it went on for about 3.5 years. I'm glad I had that experience, because it makes me value what I have today. I do realize that my case is very rare. It's an exceptional case. Not everybody gets a break who is from outside, and certainly not with the premier banner of the country. So I feel very privileged, very lucky, and yeah, I'm glad it was that hard to break in, to give that many auditions, meet that many people, because yeah, it makes me really value what I have today.
Loads more still to come. Some of the biggest Arab stars on the red carpet, a film that has already been tipped for the Oscars, and of course the Muppets. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. We are at the Medina Jumeirah Hotel, bringing you some of the highlights of this year's Dubai International Film Festival. Now, 2011 has been a time of huge change across the Arab world, and the movies have reflected this change. A host of movies made this year have had this social change at their heart.
شغلة الشوفر على الخط ما بتلبق لك، تقل حالك شوي بصير لك 100 شغلة غيرها.
والله ماني نازلة إلا قدام باب بيتي، عشو دفعت لك 10,000؟
How did you start driving a taxi cab?
Originally, I wanted to be a musician, a singer.
I wanted to make a film in Lebanon, and when I moved there, I mean, I'd been away for 13 years. I had no idea about the country, so I'd take a taxi to just look for locations. Hopefully, it would inspire some kind of story, and I guess most of my chatting was with taxi drivers. So, you know, naturally, I decided to make my main character a taxi driver.
So where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
That's easy. I'm gonna be the best taxi driver in Beirut.
Sure, Philippe, sure. When you came back, wouldn't be a revolution without the French guys. Bring out the guillotine. Hey, the corner.
Whether you're, you know, Christian or Muslim or old or young or, you know, male, female, really doesn't matter. The point is that we all need to stay together. We need to stay united in the face of things that are trying to divide us. And this is really where the power of the people comes into play, and also where we can institute change and be effective in that change.
This is what we've been dreaming of our whole life, maybe. One day there's going to be an Arabic revolution and we're going to take back the power to the people.
The film tries to answer one question,
The war is over, it's been over for 20 years, but why do we still hate each other? And I try to develop on that by presenting it as three dynamics that emerged after the war. First dynamic is reconstruction. It is accompanied by a second dynamic, which is pop music. Lebanon has really become a hub for this industry. And then comes a third dynamic, which is very powerful, which is resistance against Israel.
The headline movie of the Arab Gala night was A Whole One, a movie set in Egypt about one man's search for a wife. And on the night of the red carpet, some of Arab cinema's biggest stars caught up with Dina.
I have Rajal Jaddawi right here with me, looking absolutely fantastic in pink. She's known for being an Auburn, and you can just tell she's absolutely beautiful. What are you wearing tonight?
I'm wearing a dress by Hani al-Bahiri. He's one of the most, he's very famous in Egypt.
Now, what about your jewelry? That is just beautiful. Your purse, you are working.
I'm always looking to my jewelry.
Yes, I'm here live with the one and only Lublova. Look at her. She looks absolutely fantastic. I am so lucky and honored as an Egyptian to be here with you tonight. Now, is this your first time in Dubai?
No, this is sixth time.
Sixth time, and obviously your sixth time at the film festival.
Before 3 years, I am jury in this festival, but today, without anything, I am only invited.
Muhammad Khan is a very influential filmmaker in the Arab film industry. In 1998, his film Ahlam Hind wa Camellia was named one of the top 100 most important Egyptian films. Muhammad ran a masterclass for budding screenwriters this week and also spoke to our reporter Ilhan.
We are an industry. It's over 100 years. We have the infrastructure very strong. We have studios, laboratories, we have technicians, you know. That makes an industry, see. I think other countries make films. They're not necessarily industries. See. That's the difference. And the whole Middle East used to rely at a certain stage on the Egyptian product, you know. Our stars were their stars. Our dialect was understood all over. We were lucky that we started. I mean, I think it's only an element of luck. Maybe if the Tunisians, say, or Algerians started before us, we would be all understanding their language. You know? But I think at the moment, because of a lot of changes politically and economically, like everywhere else, it's affected. You know?
You just mentioned the changes, the dramatic changes that's going on in Egypt right now. How do you think that films will be affected, and how, or vice versa?
They're affected in the number of films being made. It's obvious. See, I mean, we used to at one stage make 100 films a year. Then it dwindled. You know, at one stage there was 1 year we made one film. It's true, but then it came back into the 15 and 20s and 30, and now it's back into the 15th probably. You know. But it reflects world state, you know. I mean, all over the world. I mean, problem. Greece has a problem. Italy has a problem. America has a problem. Only you don't have any problem.
Alhamdulillah. So you're here to teach aspiring filmmakers.
I don't teach. That's the wrong word. A master class. When they told me a master class, I told them, what's a master class? I only can talk about my experience, but I'm not a teacher. And I don't think I could be a good teacher, you know. I think my experience can teach on their own, but not necessarily. I just say you should do that or do that or do that. It's not for me to say.
Okay, I might rephrase my question. You're here to inspire
Yes,
young
I hope.
filmmakers,
Yes.
and I'm sure you would
Yeah.
do that. What's the greatest advice that you would like to give them?
To be honest, which is very difficult. Because there's a lot of elements around you want you to lie. But to be honest, makes you a great filmmaker.
And what's the greatest lesson that you have learned throughout your experience, during your
in the
experience?
filmmaking, well, I learned how to face letdowns with a smile.
It's very important and very difficult.
It is, yes.
Thank you so much. It was an honor to be here
Thank
with you today. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.
That was Muhammad Khan with Ilham Al-Hamadi. Coming up, we have George Clooney's film, which has been tipped for the Oscars, the Muppets, and a Lifetime Achievement Award. Hello, this is Aishwarya Ajit, and I am at the Medina Jumeirah. We're looking back at some of the highlights of this year's 8th edition of the Dubai International Film Festival. Now, The Descendants is the latest George Clooney film, and it has already been tipped for its vast success at next year's Oscars. It is the story of a man whose wife is in a coma and who has to deal with yet more family crisis. Clooney and his co-stars have had rave reviews for their performance in this film, and Poonam caught up with the director of the movie, Alexander Payne.
The story was originally written in Hawaii, based in Hawaii.
Yes.
My friends think just because we live in Hawaii, we live in paradise. Are they insane? Do they think we're immune to life?
Did you find it easy to have the beautiful calmness, peaceful Hawaii, where everyone thinks it's a holiday home, like it says at the beginning, and to use that as a backdrop against the emotional turmoil that one family is actually going through?
Yeah, I guess that's part of the story, is that there's this, to use your word, turmoil, crisis in such an unusual and beautiful paradise-like place as Hawaii.
How can they possibly think our families are less screwed up? Our heartaches less painful.
And for those people who don't know, you play a teenager, a little bit rebellious, but you are going through the process of losing your mother. And I've personally felt that you played it so naturally. I mean, was it easy to tap into the emotions of that role?
Yeah, the script was so beautifully written that for me, I really just had to submit myself to the moments and show up with my lines memorized and professionally listen to what the other actors had to say, and then the emotion sort of naturally was evoked. As far as getting into character, there wasn't a lot of getting into character for me. Did
you tap into your rebellious side when you were a kid?
Yeah. No, my approach to acting is really just being present in the moment and letting whatever happens happen.
What was your first encounter like with George Clooney?
How the table read.
Were you nervous?
I was not nervous until he walked in the door, and then I was like, whoa, 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 that's George Clooney, and I started sweating, and then he came up to me and gave me a giant hug and said, "Welcome, sweetie," and immediately the intimidation factor went away.
Yeah, because on screen and during the film, you're kind of like partners in crime. You're on a mission together, and you're against him at the beginning, but then you do come together. And did that chemistry come straight away?
Yeah, I mean, George is so down to earth, and he's such a normal human being, and grounded and confident and sweet and generous. Literally, there are not enough positive adjectives to fully describe this man. He's just a superhuman.
I know you like to be as authentic as you can in your films, and you sent the crew a few weeks earlier, the cast, to get an idea of
Not
their
a few, but yeah, the cast members arrived, I think about 10 days or so before we started shooting.
And what did they do? What did you want them to feel in those 10 days?
Well, first of all, get a tan a little bit, because a lot of them were pale as ghosts.
So send them off on a tan, and that's a great job.
Well, it's not that people in Hawaii tan, but you're in the sun all the
Yeah.
time, like you are here in Dubai.
Yeah.
And just get a sense of the rhythm of the place. Get out of that big city drive and sort of relax a little bit, because that's going to show up in the performance.
Set breath.
Don't ever do that to me again.
This is going to be a massive hit. I can just
I
feel
hope
it.
so.
There is that Oscar buzz around it. Does that excite you, or does that not really bother you at all?
My official answer is I am grateful for the interest in my work.
Definitely a movie to watch out for. For over 40 years, the Muppets have made the families laugh and sometimes cry, just like any normal family, says Kermit. In their latest big screen adventure, Kermit, Miss Piggy and the entire gang of Muppets have to save the Muppet Theatre. The director of the movie, James Bobbin, caught up with Dina.
Now, your film's been landed as a revival for the Muppets. How did you go about taking such an established franchise and characters and making them your own?
That's a good question. For me, it was a question of being true to them as I remember them as a kid. I watched Muppets growing up in England every week for 5 or whatever years it was on in England. So I really felt that if I was true to that idea of how I remember them being as a kid, and also, but at the same time, bring what I've been doing recently in my work, and for example, Flight of the Conchords for HBO is a musical comedy. And I love doing musical comedy, so Muppets has always been, to me, a musical at heart. And so it's the idea of being true to my sort of 6-year-old self, but also being true to my 40-year-old self who finds other things funny. And combining those two things to make a movie which kids will like and adults will like at the same time, but maybe for different reasons.
Now, you have to give us the inside scoop, James. Do Miss Piggy and Kermit finally end up together?
I couldn't possibly tell you that. You mean on screen or off screen? Yeah, it's one of the longest running relationships in show business. So it's a kind of classic on-off relationship. And it's that thing whereby they both really love each other, but they can't listen to each other. They keep missing each other kind of thing. And I'm very keen to keep that going. It wasn't really, it was up to them, you know. On screen, it was very important to us to have them come back together again. But how they end up, I couldn't possibly say.
Now, Muppets are some of the most recognizable faces in Hollywood. How temperamental were they to work with?
Not temperamental, delightful. I mean, I'm one of their biggest fans, so for me it was an amazing experience. Like meeting Kermit was like a really emotional moment for me because, you know, I remember watching him as a kid at age 6 and suddenly meeting him now now it's like working with Luke Skywalker. It's a very strange experience.
So is there any chance that the Muppets are going to make a world tour and stop by Dubai, possibly for their sequel?
I hope so. They'd love to. I think the best thing this movie does is show them the working as they're used to. With this film, I couldn't just do a film whereby I told people the Muppets were once great. I had to show them being great right now. And so I hope this movie does that. And I think people will really enjoy being in their company again. And so I see no reason why they can't tour and come to Dubai and, you know, meet people and hang out. And yeah, I'd recommend it. They're fun to be with.
Now, I know you did just arrive in Dubai, but you did attend the Mission Impossible premiere. What are your thoughts on the city so far?
Oh, it's amazing. I've only been here for 12 hours, so I don't really, but it's fantastic. Yeah, I've kind of, obviously, a lot of my friends have been here. I'm from England, so people come here quite regularly. A lot of people who've been here before and recommended it very much. So I'm delighted to be here, but it's a beautiful city. I love it.
The Mohar Awards is a big part of DIFF, giving recognition to Emirati, Arab and Asian African cinema. This year, the gala event took place at the Zabil Sarai, Palm Jumeirah. There's also a Lifetime Achievement Award this year, which honors German filmmaker Werner Herzog. He has made over 50 films and his latest film, Into the Abyss, is showing here.
Well, it's a great honor, let's face it, and there's unbelievable hospitality here, so I enjoy every minute of it. So, but it's strange, a Lifetime Achievement Award sounds like at the end of the life. But this year I'm working much more than in previous years. I've made 6 films this year.
Wow, that's
so
good.
I'm more active than before.
That's lovely. I'm sure we're going to be looking forward to a lot of your movies coming up. How important is it for German cinema to be part of the Dubai Film Festival?
Well, it is becoming part of world cinema. So Dubai is an important part, and the focus of the world is very much on Dubai. So it's a very great honor that all of a sudden Dubai accepts my films and that I'm honored with a Lifetime Achievement Award. So it's a very special thing for me.
So what more can we be expecting from you in the future? What should we look out for?
Well, one is a film where I was an actor just until 3 days ago with Tom Cruise, who was here. His part is finished. I finished only 2.5 nights ago. So I'm an actor, as a villain, as a bad guy. And I'm planning to do a film in the Arabian Desert, a big epic film, but so you may see more of me.
That's all we have from this year's edition of the Dubai International Film Festival. I can't wait for 2012, another celebration of global cinema. That's all we have from this year. Of course, Studio One will be back on air at 7:30 p.m. tomorrow, followed by Emirates 24/7. That's it from me, Aishwarya Ajit, and the entire team of Dubai One. Goodbye.